If you look at photos of Hollywood stars from the 1940s, 1930s, you will see they have this really dreamy, beautiful soft focus glow, just like in this picture here. Well, that effect is called soft focus photography, and I'm going to teach you how to do it in this video. Okay, but first let me tell you what not to do with this technique. What you might be tempted to do is to just take your lens and defocus it a bit to create that kind of blurry, dreamy effect. But that doesn't work, because then you just get photos that aren't sharp. So instead, what we're trying to do is to create a soft focus, which means that overall the picture looks dreamy and soft, but the edges actually are still sharp. Okay, so let's talk about some methods how you can actually achieve that effect. Technique number one is so easy, and it's really like one of the oldest tricks in the book, and that's using tights or stockings like these. This was actually done a lot in the old Hollywood days, also for shooting movies. So how does it work? You basically get a pair of tights, stockings, and then you put it on top of your lens. You want to make sure to pull it really tight so that the fabric is taut, so you don't want any slack in the fabric, and then you can use some rubber bands to secure the fabric in place. By the way, you can totally play around with different colors. So I've used these nude ones mostly, but I know that a lot of professional photographers love black tights. You can also try white or pink. Just experiment and see what effect you like. Here are actually some photos I've taken with the stocking over my lens. This was a still life, and here's one of my self-portraits that I shot with this method. Just some extra tips: when you're using stockings over your lens, it might be that your autofocus doesn't work because the lens, doesn't know what to focus on. In that case, just switch off the autofocus and then use the manual focus to focus on your subject, and then that should solve the problem. And last thing, by the way, this method works really well with anything that reflects light. So for example, if you have your model wear jewelry, or if there's like a crystal glass or something, you get these beautiful sparkly effects. Kind of like this actually. Okay, let's move on to the second way to achieve soft focus. But first, I would love it if you could subscribe to this channel or like this video. It helps me a lot in creating more content for you. Okay, and then the next super easy and really cheap way to create soft focus photos is to use Vaseline. Vaseline? I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway. So I always actually have a jar of that in my home studio because it's super handy for all kinds of effects. But super important disclaimer: never ever put Vaseline on your lens directly, because it could really damage your lens, and lenses are very expensive, so don't do that. It's better to buy a cheap kind of filter attachment that you can screw onto the lens, and then you put the Vaseline on that. For example, you can get a UV filter. They're usually transparent, so it won't affect the image quality. Also, when you do this, another tip: it's best not to put the Vaseline all over the filter, because it just looks a bit too smudgy. I've had really great results by putting it only on the outside of the filter and then leaving the middle blank, obviously if your subject is in the middle of the lens, and then you have that soft focus effect only on the edges of the picture. Okay, and then the next method for creating soft focus photos, is to use an actual lens filter. So they're called soft focus filters. I'm using these ones by Walking Way. I'm gonna link them in the description. They're really cheap and they're really good, so yay. You just have to buy the right size for your lens diameter. If you're not sure about that, you find that diameter on the side of your lens normally, so just make sure you check this before you buy. So you see here, that's one of the filters. They look totally transparent, but once you put them on, they create this beautiful dreamy effect. And what's also nice is you can get them in different strengths. Just one thing, because it's happened to me many times: once you're done with your shoot, don't forget to take it off. Otherwise, all of your photos suddenly look very dreamy, and that might not be what you're looking for. Hey, by the way, if you happen to like taking self-portraits like me, then you might be interested in my new ebook, which has 50 self-portrait ideas in it, and it's totally free. I'm going to leave the link down below. Okay, the fourth way to get a soft focus effect is to actually buy a soft focus lens. That is a thing as well. However, they are a bit more expensive, so that's really an investment. That means you really like soft focus photography. I'd say the most well-known brand for that is Lens Baby. They have really nice soft focus lenses. I'm also going to link one in the description. I personally haven't tried them because I'm really happy with using, stockings, filters, all that kind of stuff, but it might be worth a try if you're interested. And then the final method, this is a bit different because this is actually creating the soft focus photography look in post-production. I don't actually tend to do this because I think, why not just do it in camera when you can, and especially if it's so cheap and easy to do. But if for whatever reason you want to do it after you shot the photo, no problem. Just go to Photoshop, copy your main layer, then you select the new layer you've created, then go to Filter, Blur, Surface Blur, adjust the radius to 20 and the threshold to 200. And of course, as usual, if you find the effect too strong, you can simply lower the opacity of that whole filter layer to adjust it a bit. And that's it! Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.